giving people a few moments to catch up. I've got my own notification that Psychologies magazine has started a live video. I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony column for Psychologies magazine once a month, and once a week I'm here on a Tuesday at 5:30 with weekly wisdom, which I need to stop getting messages while I'm chatting to you, but never mind. As we said last week, that does not mean to say it's just my wisdom. The idea is that we're sharing wisdom, sharing our thoughts, sharing our weekly wisdom. I can see a request here from somebody to join the live video. We don't do that, but I'm here to answer any questions and to facilitate the sharing of stories and tips and experiences. So I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony column for Psychologies magazine. Psychologies is the UK's best-selling mindful living and emotional health magazine, I'm going to say. And Psychologies is supporting the virtual business expo at the end of this week. So have a look for that. The links are in the bio for the latest subscription offers and also the expo information, I think. But if you're following Psychologies magazine, you will get all that. I'm going to see if I've got my copy of the latest magazine so that you can see what you're looking for, but I don't. I don't have it to hand. So what I want to talk about this evening, is okay, so I am Tanya Delange. Says my apologies getting used to these settings. No problem, Tanya. Thanks for letting me know. I want to talk about what are the small things that are keeping you emotionally, mentally, psychologically healthy, stable, engaged at the moment. I'm on a bit of a mission to find maybe even the smallest thing. What is the smallest thing that you can think of or name that you know is helping you at the moment? This is particularly on my mind because for those of us in the UK, and I know that this is international, or for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere in general, we've been living under pandemic conditions for more than 6 months now, and I'm getting messages on my phone. We're coming into wintertime. How are we keeping ourselves going at the moment? And Tanya says the smallest thing helping me at the moment is gratitude journal. Definitely. I don't know if you've come across, I'm sure you will have, the 3 good things exercise, writing down at the end of each day 3 good things that happened. Shay Milby says cooking, music and video calls with family and friends. Yeah, definitely. IMVSK17 says music. 5 Pharmacy says exercise. I love all of these. Keep going. I was thinking also about some literal small things, which are I've got a hair clip that I particularly love at the moment. That is from a company called Tegan in Brighton, and it's my favourite hair clip, and I love that. It gives me pleasure. Shay Milby says also not watching the news every day. Definitely. And I say this as somebody who has officially been a journalist for more than 30 years. You can well afford not to watch the news every day. If something is important, somebody will tell you. And a lot of the news does not touch your life, and you don't need to know about it. And news is designed to look out for the stuff that's going wrong and going badly. And what we need at the moment in our lives is to turn up the volume wherever possible on what is going well. And what we're thankful for. So I started to talk a little bit about the 3 good things exercise, and that is where it's one of the most researched pieces of study in the whole of positive psychology, going back to about 2005 now. People who wrote down at the end of each day 3 good things were measurably happier 1 week, 1 month, and even up to 6 months later. And that's an exercise that I do periodically, because the evidence is also that it's not necessarily something that you should be doing 365 days of the year. It can become a bit more like an obligation or a burden. So I would advise you to find different ways of writing positively, not just the 3 good things exercise. So you might choose to focus on another positive emotion other than gratitude. But the gratitude journal is definitely a great thing to be doing, and if you haven't tried it, I do thoroughly recommend it. If you Google 3 good things, I'm trying to think, there's one of the universities, and one of the American universities has got a really good exercise on it. I'll try to signpost that in the caption to this video for the written down information about 3 good things. But the key to the 3 good things is to go into a lot of detail and to make it really personal. So to, where possible, link the happy thing to another person, and also think about the way in which you contributed to that being a good thing, and therefore to a certain extent the way in which you might maximize that good thing in your life. I'm just going to scroll back to read this comment. Weight training balances out the hormones and is good for bone structure. Also, it teaches you to breathe. Sometimes we forget. Honestly, I think you've been reading my mind today. My day started with weight training at 7:30 in the morning. I've actually had a really stressful day. Just you couldn't argue that I've had a stressful day, and so I've been able to put a lot of this into practice today. And just to tell you one little story, which is kind of amusing about my stressful day, I had a hospital appointment, which is routine. It's not a drama. That's not the stress in itself. But somehow we got the time messed up, and I went to the hospital appointment at the wrong time, had to go away and come back, and that has taken a massive chunk out of my day. I am VSK17 says, gratitude journal, definitely going to try it. Good. If one more person tries it, I'm happy, really happy. So on my second visit back to the hospital for the actual appointment time, I picked up a little leaflet about stress from the British Heart Foundation, and it was talking about how one of the symptoms of stress, this is clearly a leaflet that's been hanging around for a while, one of the symptoms of stress in, I'm going to say, normal times, is that, or among the symptoms would be difficulty in making decisions and difficulty in concentrating. And I was kind of smiling about that, because I noticed that in myself, I noticed that in people that I interact with. And then it was also talking about when we're feeling stressed, unfortunately, we cut ourselves off from other people, whereas actually being connected with other people is really good insulation against stress, with the caveat that cutting yourself off from toxic people or people who create stress for you, that's a good idea. But in general, having good social connections lowers our stress levels. And the other thing that we do under stress is we tend to allow our more normal good habits of eating and drinking water rather than alcohol, let's say, and getting regular exercise, all of those habit patterns can tend to slip when we're under stress, and that makes matters worse. So that's partly what got me thinking about the, I'm just waving to some people still joining. Say hi when you join, let me know where you're joining from. And if you've got a question or a comment or a story that you want to share, please do share it. I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony art column for Psychologies magazine. That's once a month. And once a week, I'm here at 5:30 on a Tuesday with weekly wisdom. And that is not just my wisdom, that's us sharing our collective wisdom and kindness. So, telling a story about my stressful day that started me thinking about the little things that we know are really helping at the moment. And Rosemary says, hi from Malta. Oh, wow. Okay, I've got envy of you being in Malta at the moment. I don't know if you can hear rain on my conservatory roof at the moment. Hi, Nikki. Lovely to see you. Today, I'm talking about what are the small things. It's almost a challenge. What is the smallest thing that you can name which is actually helping you at the moment, which you know is helping you maintain your equilibrium and perspective? And I've got a few small things to share from my own day. And I'm in the middle of telling a story about how I've had a stressful day, which ended in a way that was both stressful and amusing. So 5 Pharmacy says, sorry, I need to leave from the USA, going to work. We'll follow your advice. Have a great day at work, and thank you for joining. Thank you. Weed. Yeah, I can understand how that possibly feels like it's helping. I'm from New Zealand, and there is a referendum going on about whether to legalise cannabis, and I voted to legalise cannabis because I think it would be better if it were above ground. And Tanya's telling me a story here. I'm Tanya Delange from South Africa. I enjoy your magazine. I landed in hospital because of stress and burnout. I'd like to study stress management and host workshops and retreats. Well, Tanya, any other tips that you want to share, I'd love to hear them, and I'll pass them on and share them in the group. I was talking about the temptation to smoke more weed when you're under stress, which I understand, but I'm going to put it in the same category as alcohol, that it helps in the moment and it doesn't really help longer term, unfortunately, mostly. However, I actually take CBD oil, which is, my daughter who does smoke weed is a bit scathing about it, but I'm a fan of CBD oil. My stressful day, my story. Shay Milby says, I do 5-minute breathing meditations. They really help. If you want to share a link for any specific ones that you do, I'd love to hear them, and I'll share those. I am really on the lookout for breathing meditations, particularly at the moment. I do a 5-minute self-compassion break. It's a guided meditation with Kristen Neff, N-E-F-F, Nikki. The power of the breath helps enormously. Again, if you have anything specific, particularly these short ones, I'd love to know what they are really specifically. That would be great. So I'm at the hospital. It's the second time I've gone to the hospital today because I got the time wrong, I think. Not a drama, the actual hospital appointment, routine checkup. Slightly stressful going to the hospital at the moment because they have to take your temperature. They ask you to take off your mask. They give you a hospital issue mask. It's all, you're not able to really interact with people. I'm there for the second time, pick up this leaflet from the British Heart Foundation. And I wrote a Facebook post about it saying that, at the moment we're seeing how some businesses... No, I don't want you to... Don't apologise. I'm going to just carry on with my story anyway. Please tell your story. Sorry to interrupt. No, please keep them coming, the comments. I can just carry on with my story in the background. I'll pick up my threads. British Heart Foundation talking about people having difficulty concentrating and making decisions. And I put that together with, I know that some businesses are talking about monitoring people's productivity at the moment, and I think they have completely got hold of the wrong end of the stick, if that's what they're thinking about. That is a misunderstanding of the effect of the stress of this whole situation on people at the moment. Nikki is saying breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8. Repeat times 4. Okay, that's slightly different from the one I know is the 4-7-8 pattern, which is breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. Okay, Shay Milby, a good meditation. Okay, Shay, would you please message me that link? Me personally, I'm at Mary the Fenwick, so that I can share it. Yeah, because I won't be able to pick it up from the comments here, I don't think. So I do a little Facebook post about people who've got hold of the wrong end of the stick, and this is while I'm sitting in my car at Woking Station, getting a parcel packed up to send to my daughter for her 21st birthday. As I'm sitting in the car to the right of me opens their door and it touches my car. And makes a tiny little noise. I'm not very precious about my car, so I kind of wave, they wave, carry on. On the other side of me is one of those hatched areas where you're not supposed to park. And Nikki is saying also Wim Hof's method is also powerful. And Wim Hof is featured in the current issue of Psychologies magazine, so I'm going to have a look at that. I haven't got up to that bit of it yet. I'm in my car at Woking Station, and there's a car parked to the left of me on the hashed area. I go round to open the door, get out the stuff I've got to send to my daughter. My car door touches the car beside. And the guy in the car beside me jumps out shouting, "Jesus Christ!" at me, before he's looked at what's actually happened. And I've already got my mask on because I'm just about to go into town. And I say, sorry, I don't think there's any damage. I'll give you my name. And he takes a photo of my number plate. It's a load of huffing. And he grabs something to write down my details on. He grabs a cigarette packet, and there's nowhere to write on the cigarette packet. He's grabbed it out of his car. And I say, don't worry, I've got a pen and I've got a piece of paper. And I grab my piece of paper, write down my name and my phone number on it so that he's got it, give it to him. And only then do I fully realise that what I've given to this extremely agitated man is that little brochure about stress from the British Heart Foundation that I just picked up in the hospital. So I'm quite happy to have passed on that information to somebody who seemed to need it at the time. And I honestly don't think there's any damage to his car, and I have to remind myself that he was clearly also having a bad day. It was also making me think about a phenomenon that we learn about in coach training and that you learn about in therapy training called fundamental attribution error. And that is, the fundamental attribution error is that we tend to, I'm Tanya Delange says you could have saved his damaged ego. Yeah, I was doing a lot of breathing, calm breathing behind my mask. Fundamental attribution error is that if we react in a way that is less than optimal, let's say, we attribute it to our environment or circumstances. We say, that happened because I was having a bad day. That happened because I just had a row with somebody, or I'd just been bitten by a mosquito. I'm allergic to mosquito bites. So we have an environmental explanation, but for our own bad behaviour. But for other people's bad or less optimal behaviour, we attribute it to their character. We believe it is part of who they are. So that's the fundamental attribution error that it's useful for us all to be aware of, that we make these excuses for ourselves. It was environmental, and we attribute that other people are bad people when these difficult interactions happen. So I'm going to say I was having a stressful day, he was having a stressful day. The kind of also amusing thing was that me staying calm and smiling, even though I'm smiling behind a mask, and being completely cooperative and writing everything down, did defuse things. And by the end of our tiny little interaction, he was making eye contact with me and gave me his name as well, and the whole situation had calmed down quite a bit. I still have come on this with the resolution that I want to share, I want us all to share whatever are the small things, really small things that are helping us at the moment, because we are all stressed. There is no doubt about it. We're all operating under stressful conditions. And I was sharing that I've got a particular hair clip that makes me very happy. Giving you a little glimpse of my hair clip there, which is by a business called Tegen, T-E-G-E-N, in Brighton in the UK. I like them because they're a bit stylish in my opinion, and they're very strong hair clip. I've also brought my favourite mask, which is made by my cousin, and I don't know if this will show or if it's reversed, but she's stitched my name into the mask, and that makes me very happy. And I put my own bit of pipe cleaner in it to make it fit. I also have a little wardrobe of masks, purple. I have a purple mask with red. So, small things which are making us happy at the moment. What is the smallest thing that you can name which is helping at the moment? We've had gratitude journal, writing down your 3 good things. We've had exercise. We've had weight training. We've had making sure that you chat to your family and friends. We've had music. And we've had a lot of people talking about breathing. And breathing is really helping a lot of us at the moment. And there is nothing, I guess, smaller and more and cheaper actually than breathing. I've just had a little burst of people adding their suggestions. Nikki says sticking to a regular bedtime and wake up time. Definitely, yeah. I am more consciously doing that at the moment. I've been through a phase where I was really not sleeping well, and kept waking up at say 3 a.m. and not being able to get back to sleep, and slightly grateful to have got through that. So it's making it easier to stick to regular bedtime and wake up time. Tanya says small things, bubble bath. Definitely reminds me, a small thing that will improve my life from that point of view is when I get a better plug for my bath, because at the moment the plug doesn't fit properly, and as you're in the bath it's very gradually kind of leaking out around you, and that is slightly stressful. Connective Arts NI says, I like listening to the radio when I wake up. What are you listening to, I wonder? That I'd like to know. Fanny Blake says, right this minute, a Lindt chocolate ball. Yes. And Hannah says, also meditations in the evening to help me sleep. I'm Hannah, by the way. Hi, Hannah. Thank you. And if you want to share exactly which meditations you like and where you find them. Shay Milby says, burning lavender oil in a burner, listening to chill hop. That does sound like a small thing that would help a lot. Thank you. I love these. So meditation, chocolate, bubble bath, listening to the radio. I was also going to say, this is a very small thing, but I've got a particular favourite mug that gives me pleasure. I'm just going to share these because I've put these photos up. There's some research about nostalgia, the value of consciously revisiting your positive memories, and I think I might do a little session about that. But yeah, we might talk about that next week. I've made my own little start. I've got to call it a gallery would be overstating it, but I'm just going to show you. That was my son trying to phone me, and I'm going to call him back. I'm going to show you 3 things that I've got in my eye line when I sit here. Photo of me with my daughter, my mother and my grandmother. My mother and my grandmother are both dead now, but this is the 4 generations of my family, and I like that photo. That makes me feel very grateful. This is a photo of me when I was 24 on the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and this amuses me and gives me a good feeling because I don't know if you can see in the photo, but it demonstrates that there were no safety barriers on the Leaning Tower of Pisa in 1987, which sometimes that's such a weird memory that I almost think I'm lying to myself when I think of it, and I was really delighted to find that photo. Burning lavender oil, just catching up. Oh, Tanya says, a nap is also really good to restart a long day. Yes, I am reading a book at the moment by, what is her name? It takes Claudia Winkleman. The book is called Quite, and early on in the book, she writes a whole chapter on naps. Yeah, beginner level napping, intermediate and advanced napping. Hannah says, I listen to my favourite radio station that has pick-me-up songs and a funny radio presenter. Yes, yeah. That's a really good reminder, actually, because Too Much Today program in the morning is not good for my mental health. And Hannah says, I use the Balance app for my meditation. It has some great breathing and reflective meditations. Cool. Okay, well, I'll have a look for that one. Can getting dopamine from nostalgia be addictive, and can it lead to brain dysfunctions? Well, off the top of my head, I can't answer that. Can getting dopamine from nostalgia be addictive? Well, dopamine is addictive, but I don't think it's harmful. That'll be one of the questions I look into before I talk about this in a bit more depth. Can it lead to brain dysfunctions? I think you would probably want to be aware if you found yourself spending big chunks of the day not being present in that sense, just entirely indulging in thinking yourself back into the past. That would not be healthy. But a bit of controlled nostalgia can be a really helpful and hopeful thing. It can remind you of a time that you were happy, just to remind you that it's possible. Remind you of a time that you felt more free. I find that photo of me on the Leaning Tower of Pisa quite a useful reminder of that kind of adventurousness that is still within me. And the other thing I was going to share was a card that my daughter, the one who's in the other photo, made me for my birthday, which says, it's got a Fleetwood Mac quote at the bottom. It says, time makes you bolder. So So those are another few of the small things that I have close by. Nikki says, got to go, Mary. Thank you as always. See you next week. Oh, yeah, she's just written herself a letter about nostalgia. Good. I've promised, so now I've got to deliver. And maybe there's a danger of overstimulation. Yeah, I guess. But in a way, that's why I'm talking about, hoarding can lead to, hoarding is interrelated with a nostalgia addiction. Yes, hoarding and nostalgia addiction. And I'm getting Ruby Saeed saying hello and sending me flowers. Thank you. Hi, lovely to see you. And Hannah says Fleetwood Mac are a great band. Yes, big fan of Fleetwood Mac. That line is from Landslide, I think, by Stevie Nicks. There's also a great version of Landslide by the band who used to be called the Dixie Chicks and have changed their name to the Chicks. And their version of Landslide is fabulous. It's a kind of American bluegrass country version of Landslide. So, I'm Mary Fenwick, for those who missed the start. I write the Agony Aunt column for Psychologies magazine, that's once a month. And once a week, on a Tuesday at 5:30, I'm here to answer your questions live, but also to share stories and inspiration. And I have a theme each week, and this week I've been talking about what are the very small things that you know are really helping you at the moment. And we've talked about bubble baths, breathing, meditation, music, radio station that plays uplifting music and has a funny host, because I think having a little laugh is also really essential at the moment. What else have we talked about? Burning lavender oil. I talked about the hair clip that gives me pleasure every day. I talked about the mask that my cousin made for me, which has got my name sewn into it. I talked about the pleasure of drinking from my favourite mug, which is about 20 years old now. I feel very attached to it. And we talked a bit about how a little bit of nostalgia or connecting yourself to a happier time can help you feel happier in the present at the moment. But that's something you need to be a bit careful about the balance of in terms of keeping present as well. So thank you so much. As I said, if you're interested in the latest offers from Psychologies magazine, have a look for the link in the bio. And I will see you next Tuesday. Ciao.